Hey guys, I'm Morthadon and we are back for Oshi no Ko Season 2, Episode 9. Alrighty guys, it's getting around that time that you should start keeping an eye out for a poll. Either it will be in... I may put it all the way back into this week's episode, a link to it, because of early access on my Patreon and everything. Since I watch a few episodes ahead, I need to get the polls out a little early, so that way you guys on YouTube have time to vote and time to hear me mention this, but there will be a link in the description to the poll. If I didn't put it in this one, keep an eye out for the next episode, and it should be in that one. I'll be making that video very soon here. And then there will also be a video on my channel if you want to check that out, or you can just check out my Patreon, is where I always have the polls. They're public and free for anyone to vote. You may need a Patreon account, but it's free to sign up for one if you don't already have one. So check that out if you're interested in helping me choose what replaces this show, because this is the last season that's out at the moment anyway, as far as I know. I guess I'll double check. So I guess if there's another season that I missed, then scratch everything I just said. But yeah, so anyway, last episode was amazing. We kind of broke Kana out of her shell. That was great, and then towards the end of the episode, we started diving into the Aqua stuff, so I had a pretty good discussion last episode about the episode, so I'll leave that if you want to go watch that. Let's just jump into this one, because I am excited to watch this show and be emotionally devastated like I have been the past few episodes. Alrighty, we're going to start here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now. Alright, okay, good, my mic is working. I had my... God. I recorded a reaction to Dune and didn't realize my mic wasn't working the whole time because a Windows update decided to make the device not work on my OBS. And I had to, like, reset the device. And then today I turned on my computer. This was like a few days ago. Today I turned on my computer and it just changed my default communication device, so my mic wasn't working on Discord when I went to talk to my friends. So it was like, what is going on? So I really gotta make sure I'm double checking that my mic is working whenever I'm recording. Luckily, my reaction to Dune was to only the first movie, so it's like, worst case, I still haven't decided what I'm doing yet. I don't know if I'm gonna do a review video where I talk about Dune 1 before watching part 2 of Dune, or do I just do a reaction to part 2 and just say, hey, sorry, the part 1 reaction got got messed up. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Hmm. We're going back to this. Oh, they watched it. Wow, we're going back to seeing I. This is amazing and also sad. Freaking Ruby on her back, just passed out. Yes, this intensity. Oh shit! Oh my god, the animation was already so smooth in just, like, that 2 seconds. Damn. Wow. Yeah, Kana doesn't understand. Shit. Damn. Goddamn. Yeah. Oh shit. I kind of expected to go to his, like, reincarnated form because of the glasses, but wow. And then he embodied the shadow. Beautiful music. It's cool though. He's drawing on that trauma, and that's kind of like how he drew on that shadow power, pulled it away from his kid version to himself. Damn. Hmm. Oh shit. Damn. That's why her injuries healed. Wow. No shit. Are they gonna transfer her wounds back to save her? Whoa. You were just a kid, dude. Even if you had an advanced mind. Oh. Darkness fading away. Oh. Why is this gonna make me cry? It's almost like it's undoing his trauma from the past, seeing this. Oh. Damn. I wish that could be true! Whoa. Look at her face. No. Wow. Oh. Yeah. Must be tiring. Oh, we got all B Kabachi here. Yeah, they have to do this play multiple times, don't they? Hmm. Interesting. Yeah. She was gonna put on the act and then she didn't. Nice. Hmm. Damn. So they're both thinking about each other, thinking they could be better. That's funny. Hmm. Interesting. Yeah. Hmm. Interesting. Didn't have high hopes for her. Yeah. She has some good friends that pushed. Hmm. Interesting. Yeah. Aqua. Hmm. Who is he interested in? Yeah, he likes watching people's reactions as they're leaving. Nice. That's really cool. Alright. Oh. Oh shit. Some DNA tests. Whole bunch of samples it look like too. Both credited for the script. No. Yeah. Good job, guys. This is cool. I wonder what it feels like. Is the stage rotating or is the audience rotating? I can't remember which one they said. Crap. Look at that set, though. It's insane. Showing up again to bow. It's always fun when you watch a play and there's like a conflict going, oh, he's carrying her. How cute. A little blush. Kana's face. Oh, so salty. It's always fun seeing like characters who are against each other in a show, like being buddy buddy as like actors together afterwards. You know, the two that were fighting just sitting there like clinging on to each other and stuff. It's kind of fun. Oh, look at her. She's so happy. Seems like it came out good for her. Cool. Oh, frickin' Akane. They're note gathering. Oh. Ooh. What does that look about? She's not actually drinking alcohol. Yeah, ginger ale. Okay. I was gonna say, she's just like acting drunk. I like how it just constantly has the chat bubble to remind the audience, like, she's not actually drinking, guys. Hmm. Yeah, Aqua's trying to get closer to him. Yep. We're getting back on track with this story after being derailed. Hmm. Damn. Guy on the left, too. Hmm. Hmm. Interesting. Ah. Okay. He might get the lowdown and help out Aqua. Okay. Oh, Aqua's there too. Bruno. Hmm, okay. Only recently turned 20. Hmm. Damn, he got me. Oh. Oh, nice. Similarities to Aqua, kinda. Aqua wasn't in a children's home, but he was raised by a director, you know? Hmm. Interesting. Very clever observation. Who's the girl behind him? Oh, is that the girl that was pouring drinks, Runa? Hmm, okay. Oh. What? Damn! What the fuck? Dude, their dad gets around. Holy shit. Alright, well, that's why he was like in the bathroom with the DNA test and everything. I'm guessing that's where, for whatever reason, he ran a DNA test on Himikawa. I believe that's the guy's name, right? Um, that's crazy. Because, I mean, clearly, if he's 20. Yeah, when they were born, he would have been like 8 years old, so there's no way he was checking. You know, like, there's no way he was checking to see if Himikawa was his dad. But, interesting. Maybe he just checked for the hell of it, you know? Like, I don't know. I guess it's someone in the industry. Maybe he had an inkling that if if the guy had slept with I and had a kid and gave up on him, maybe he's done it before, you know? Well, shit. Alright, cool. That is it, guys, for episode 9. Yeah, so we had the play wrap up. It was really cool. I like the at least for the story within the play, this idea of like a healing or like a wound transfer scabbard is really neat, and that uh Saya used it to transfer the wounds of even the enemies and stuff, trying to, use that as a form of making peace, maybe, or whatnot. But yeah, okay. That was very cool. And then they used it to transfer the wounds away from her. I'm guessing it just spread it evenly amongst everyone, I would assume. We didn't really get to see too much of like where the wounds went, I don't think. But either way, or maybe it had to do with like his special sword going in the transfer scabbard. Maybe it like had a healing effect rather than just transferring the wounds to someone. I'm not sure, because his sword was supposed to be like special in the play, right? So, but either way, we had the cool fight between Toki and Blade there in the beginning too. Some very brief but really cool animation for a moment there, and Aqua's rage, and I like the whole like. I talked about it a little bit, but the darkness dissipating from young Aqua and transferring to older Aqua, who is then channeling it into his acting to have his emotional acting and everything. And we had Kana's kind of narrating, because sometimes it's like it looked good to me, but from an actor's perspective, what do they think? And she was like, he's incredible, like the performance he put on there at the end. So it's definitely interesting to see that, and but she could sense that it was coming from a place of pain, rather than a place of like emotional acting. Sometimes when you get that emotional, you're drawing on something like sad or whatnot, but she could tell it was being drawn on something different, but she doesn't know what it was. But it was really sad. We had like that moment seeing I again in like the flashback where they went and saw the movie that Aqua was in as a kid. That was really sad seeing I again, but also kind of nice. And then we had that sad moment with, and so it's kind of like with Saya coming back to life, that was like the vision within Aqua's mind was him seeing I come back to life, and that's what allowed him to hit that level of acting. It transitioned from him, holding on to I into what he was actually doing, which was holding on to Saya or Akane. So, um, yeah, certainly cool and interesting. And I don't think that means that this darkness is done within Aqua, right? I think it's just he figured out a way to channel it. So I'm sure it's still gonna be a, an internal conflict for him going forward, but we'll have to see. Uh, we had an interesting conversation with the two, like, the directors or whatever they are considered, whatever they're, I'm sorry, I'm not good at keeping track of all their roles and everything, but the two guys talking about, like, star quality. And I mean, it was kind of creepy, like, in a way, with this guy talking about, like, cute, like, I don't know. I mean, I guess I think the US has kind of tainted me, like, with, you gotta, like, be careful of guys calling young girls cute because they might be a pedophile or something. I don't think he had any kind of intentions like that. I think he was just calling, them cute without any kind of, like, ulterior motive or anything like that, I think it should be fine, for a guy to call a younger girl cute, because, but same with, like, people be like, I don't know, I guess it's, like, a weird topic to talk about, but, like, I'm even worried about saying, like, oh, you have an adorable baby or something like that to someone, because I'm worried they're gonna, like, freak out, because I've seen too many videos of, like, women, like, pulling their kids away from guys, because, like, women are allowed to go up and be like, oh, it's a beautiful baby you have there, but if a guy does it, it's, like, creepy in some way. But sometimes, but anyway, so regardless of that, we had him talking about how, like, they have, like, these cute actresses and everything, but then there's something about them on stage that makes them, like, exceptionally cute. And he was saying that's what he calls star quality, is when your acting can make you even more, like, I don't want to say attractive, because attractive is the wrong word. That's exactly what I'm trying to say that he's not saying. But not necessarily attractive, but just like, uh like, adorable, like, eye-catching, but not in that way of, like, oh, she's so beautiful, I want to date her kind of thing. Just, like, popping out. I think they even use, like, pop out as a word, and maybe that's, like, a better way to say it. It makes them stand out amongst the other masses in the same industry. And he was saying that's what he calls, like, star quality. So definitely interesting. And them talking, we never really saw, I don't think he ever said who we had the other guy being like, who do you think, like, who are you keeping an eye out on? And he said, oh, I'm keeping an eye out on, and then we, like, cut scenes, right? And I don't think he ever said throughout the episode who he's keeping an eye on. So I'm really wondering who he was most interested in throughout that, because he basically said, like, oh, like, Akane was already very skilled going into it, and her professor, what's the word? Wow, I just completely spaced out. Basically, her acting towards the end was impeccable and everything, so he was keeping an eye on that, but it seemed like there was someone else he was eyeballing. I wonder if it was, like, maybe Melt with his, like, one really good scene he gave it. Maybe that's someone that he could nurture and bring up to also be, if he can turn all of his acting into that one little, like, 10-minute or 5-minute or 2-minute or whatever it was scene that he practiced really hard for, then he could be someone very good, and he has that drive and motivation, it seems, to train that hard and everything. So yeah. Anyway, I really liked just the bowing, and it was something that they didn't really need to show us, but it was kind of cool with, like, the audience clapping. And I still love Rida, or Rido, how Rida, I think it's Rida, right? How he watches the reactions of people as they're leaving. That's someone that's putting on these plays to make people happy and for them to enjoy it, rather than someone that is putting on these plays as a means of profit and making money. And that's what I always hate about people that are in some kind of industry like that, is when they're only doing something for money, it kind of, you can sometimes see it in the production value of the creation. So him doing that and watching those reactions just makes me like him so much more as a person, you know? So, anyway. But yeah, and then obviously we go into Aqua trying to get information at this drinking party and everything, and we also had a little bit of Ruby being like, "You really are like an incredible actor," you know, and the whole scene with Akane being sad that she didn't feel like she kept up with Kana, and then Kana being sad that she didn't feel like she kept up with Akane. We still have that little bit of rivalry going, which a little bit of rivalry can be good. It can push you to greater heights and everything. So, but I wonder what Ruby is thinking. Like, she kind of came in with a more serious tone. We don't always see Ruby all that serious, but it's like she finally got to see Kana like shining, right, and stuff like that. So I wonder. I do feel like Ruby is a big part of the story, but took a big step back this season. I wonder if we're gonna get a little more into that. I mean, we did have the whole her forming like Bikamachi again, and the idol group and the YouTube video stuff, and you know, we did have content with that, but a lot of that was even more focused on Kana, right? With pulling her into it and getting some of her like life story and things like that, and some of her pain and trauma and things that have gone on in her life, but we haven't really, you know, we haven't really delved really deep. I mean, we know a lot about Ruby, but we don't necessarily know what she's really thinking behind her super cheery personality that she always has. So, and she took a more serious note here, so I just wonder what's going on with her. So maybe we'll be checking in with her a bit more as we go as well. But yeah, and then leading into the drinking party where Aqua was fishing for information and then ended up wanting to, you know, the whole reveal of this other guy being the Blade Himekawa or whatever. I hope I'm getting that name right. I hope that isn't one of the directors and I'm saying the wrong name this whole time. But yeah, like them sharing a dad is just really interesting, and I wonder what his reaction is going to be because we just ended the episode after he said that. So what is he going to think? Because one of my first questions would be, you know, even though maybe it's not as important, but I'm going to be like, why'd you run my DNA? You know, like we could go into that where he gets angry about that, but then also, you know, I wonder if he knows anything about his dad. He said he was in a child home, so he might not have been raised by the guy either, but maybe he knows a little bit more. I guess we'll see. Very bold of Aqua to bring this up. You know, this could be. I don't know how much Aqua's going to tell him. He could just say he's trying to find his dad or something like that, you know, and play it off as being innocent. But yeah, I wonder how much he'll confide in this guy. So anyway. Very good stuff, guys. Love the episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed. Check out my Patreon if you want to see more. There's 2 episodes ahead of time on there. There might be that poll on there, as I mentioned. All that stuff, links in the description below, should be popping up on the screen as well. And I'll see you in my future reactions. Bye-bye.